Hey, Capy, happy Easter.
Thank you, Glowie. Happy Easter to you too.
I know you're a big Christian guy.
Oh, yeah, huge. Yes.
Yeah. Did the Easter bunny come around?
Yeah, I actually, I got an egg today.
Okay. Do you mean that somebody who is not like an in the closet or not yet self-aware trans person?
What?
That you don't know what an egg
This
is?
flew over my head.
The egg flew
No,
over your
I
head?
know what. Oh, your joke flew over my head.
Okay.
I felt dumbfounded.
A trans person flew over your head. I got it. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, it does in fact seem that believing in yourself and having the bravery in such a backward society to identify the way you feel on the inside, it does seem like a superpower.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So on our last Patreon stream, we did a thing talking about... No. On our last podcast, we were talking about progressive victory.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the subsequent Thursday stream, we were watching a lot of reactionary liberals talking, doing quote stitches to somebody with the prompt, if you're a liberal, why don't you want to move left? Which seemed to really draw the ire of the status quo civility voter.
Yeah, they were pissed.
They were very, very pissed and just sort of like making unhinged takes about that. So if you guys have not yet, go ahead and join the Patreon. We do 2 streams a week of varying length. Sometimes they're a little bit shorter. Sometimes they're very long. And we watch a curated list of some TikToks of people going through it. Apparently.
Yeah.
Making audacious, just terrible arguments. And we just sit there and stare at each other gobsmacked while we try to list the millions of microaggressions and just wrong thought in each TikTok. So, and that is because of those 2 things, Cappy, my feed has been almost irreparably soiled until I start watching more Dragon Ball edits again or something. I don't know. I get my algorithm back in line.
Yeah, no, I could imagine. Mine's still nice and safe.
Okay. And as a result, one of the people that we were looking at was this guy, Reactionary Leftists. What do you, so you've looked at some of these TikToks I've curated for you?
I did. It made me mad. I wanted to punch the wall. I was immediately frustrated, and his name is fitting. Very fitting.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he a leftist, do you think? Reactionary leftist, reactionary_leftist is this guy. And I hate a guy like this, Cappy.
Oh, he's a dork.
Above and beyond his is just very, very black and white zero-sum game. If you're not with us, you're against us. The term I was trying to think of earlier was Calvinistic. It's
okay.
Like this idea that as long as evil exists in the world, if you're not fighting it, then you're evil. Like you're in league with the devil if you're not fighting the devil. And Trump is the devil, ergo, unless you're voting for the lesser of evil, which is such a weird thing. You know what I mean? It's like you vote for a demon to be against the devil.
Yeah. No, I'd rather have the Strasserists over Hitler.
Yeah, that's the Strasserist v. Hitler is a dynamic that we were talking about in the stream. So the Strasserists were sort of semi more left than the mainstream Nazi party.
They were the left wing of the Nazi party, and they were the ones who were descended upon during the Night of the Long Knives.
And also and that's different than the brown shirts. Who were led by a gay guy who eventually got purged because of it.
Yeah. You're talking about Ernst Röhm, or whatever his name is. Yeah. No, this was the Strasser brothers, and they were still awful. It's still fascism. It's a little bit closer to those weird terminally online third positionists you see. I think one of the biggest differences was they were just not as anti-Semitic, but they were still fucking awful.
Yeah. But I hate a type of guy like this, which is like, and I don't know, I'm looking at this, we don't really have guys like this on the West Coast, Cappy.
What, you blaming this on the East Coast?
A little bit. We don't have guys who do, like, first of all, like in California, if he fixed his voice to talk to people like this in real life, he'd have to fight.
Oh yeah, no, he's got a chip on his shoulder for sure.
No, there's something about his tone or whatever. I hate a fake tough guy. I hate a guy who's like a nerd and misrepresenting himself online. Now, I did to give him the, I clicked through some of his other ones. Some of his takes aren't even that bad. He has some takes on there which is sort of like, I guess he's like sort of he's a little bit of a virtue signally feminist. A little bit. Okay. I don't hate that. He had some interesting videos about him getting a vasectomy, which I wanted to laugh at, but that's actually probably good and responsible. And it's good that hopefully he nipped it in the bud before he reproduced. But, and he was like going over like a sheet that he got that said, hey, before you do this, here's some other things that you can do. Have you thought about like getting your wife sterilized? Have you thought about this? I was like, oh my God. So I think some of his less fake tough guy, I'm begging to be punched in the face tonality, I think a lot of that is reserved for us.
Yeah.
He's only a fake tough guy when he's talking about people who have the courage of their convictions to not vote for 2 scoops of shit in their sandwich or 1 scoop of shit in their sandwich.
Yeah, no, and I noticed whenever he addresses anybody younger than him or older than him, age instantly comes into it, which is just nonsense.
He also likes to call women stupid a lot, I've noticed. Now, He does not do a lot of stitches with dudes. A lot of the things that I've seen were him stitching women.
Some deep-seated misogyny.
I don't know, but maybe that's just evidence of your nominal positions don't equate to real life, or just unchecked. Unchecked sort of misogyny, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Sort of a differential in how you would treat men or women. I don't know. Now, I'm not much for, I don't really consider it like ableist, but he's very much doing the, if you don't agree with me, you're stupid. People don't agree with me because you're stupid and you're naive. And that I want to say more about that, but I think all of us kind of do that because it's frustrating and it's hard to talk about this. But when you do talk about things like that, instantly people who internally know they're right are going to stop listening. Because it's like, brother, I'm obviously, yes, I came to the same conclusions as you before. Yes, we've all had to go through the iterative stages of moving leftward and rejecting and unpacking liberalism. But yeah, the lesser evilism, that comes standard in the duopoly. That is he's peddling. I don't know. He says he's a reactionary, a leftist. I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem very radical if you were literally using duopolistic talking points that only exist to perpetuate the existence of the duopoly.
Yeah, there's nothing radical in any of the TikToks that I saw. It's nothing radical.
Let me go ahead. Well, this is a little bit radical. Let me share my screen with you here. Share screen, Google Docs. Okay, I'm gonna play this first one here. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing Hasan v. Gordon Newsom. We've been seeing over the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing Hasan v. Gavin Newsom, where when pointedly asked, "Hey, what do you think about Gavin Newsom? Are you going to be voting for Gavin Newsom?" And Hasan was basically like, "No, run somebody else. If you run Gavin Newsom, I'll probably vote third party." And that is the most infuriating. Then you see everything coming out. Oh, he's a tanky. He's pro-China. He's a misogynist. He's a Russia shill, a China shill, a tanky, a misogynist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A vain, a narcissist, a fake leftoid because he makes money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of the old canards came out, and it was basically like Hasan being used as a lightning rod for the sort of internalized angst people have about people who dare to vote third party, which is participating in the liberal, in the you're doing what liberals want at that point, right?
Yeah, but they want you to vote for their party. They want you to be stuck in the duopoly because they don't see a way forward through electoralism, right? They think that voting Democrat is going to be harm reduction. Granted, we don't see a way forward through electoralism either, but we want to utilize it nonetheless.
It's very interesting, that term harm reduction, right? Because harm reduction, I was just watching a video about this today. I was like, oh, that's a nice little mnemonic. Harm reduction is introducing actual harm reduction, i.e. it's like a epidemiological term for things like drug abuse or like AIDS.
Yes.
It's actually implementing things that actually help.
Yeah.
For instance, like clean needle drop-offs and actually supplying needles, right?
Yeah.
For like people who would otherwise be prone to be using dirty needles, and then also put the population more at risk for like hepatitis and other intravenously or seminally transmitted diseases, right?
Yeah.
From sharing needles or whatever. But when applied to voting, it's not like, I don't know how that works, because it's literally like you're saying I'm voting for 70% devil versus 100% devil. It's like, well, where's the harm reduction? You're not introducing a mechanism that actually prevents the harm from spreading. You're just spreading the harm.
Yeah, I think most of us by now know that the Democrats don't really do harm reduction. And even when the question of harm reduction comes up, I like to ask, harm reduction for who?
And we'll get into we'll unpack some of these things, because we have 10 TikToks here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here's the first one. This is the first one that came across my feed.
If you're a fan of Hasan Piker, I assume you believe the international Jewish conspiracy. Like, I assume you are anti-Semitic and believe in the international Jewish conspiracy.
Apropos of nothing, huh? Capy, now we're not the biggest Hasan guys, but Hasan is like Lenin compared to this guy.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
So
no, you're right.
So now I'm not a big Hasan guy, but would you consider Hasan to be anti-Semitic?
I have never heard Hasan say anything anti-Semitic. Granted, I don't really watch him, but clips come up and I'll take a look at them. And you and I have watched a couple in our streams and whatnot, and I've never heard him say anything anti-Semitic.
Is this a pro-Israeli talking point? Is that what this is? Or is this an issue where Hamas or Hasan supports Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis?
It could be. I'm not sure if he does, but if he did, first of all, based credit where it's due. Second of all, I could imagine that would ruffle this guy's feathers.
Yeah, that's what and I think that he is Jewish, and it's not really. I think that if I'm guessing, I'm looking at him, he seems like a Jewish guy, which is fair enough. Like, it's not for me to tell people what is or isn't anti-Semitic, because I'm sure if I was Jewish, I would feel the vibes of anti-Semitism more. Like, you walk into a room and you're like, oh, these guys would like definitely push me in an oven.
Yes.
So it's not for me to really say. However, this very much seems like pro-Zionist, pro-Israeli State Department talking points that are villainizing revolutionary groups in those areas that are fighting for sovereignty.
I know that, and I believe it might be one of the TikToks we're covering, but someone does try to explain that Hasan doesn't say anything about Jewish people, and it has to do with Zionism, and this guy kind of shits on that.
Well, is that the next one up?
I think it is, right? Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, let's listen to that one. So he says, in reply to a comment, conflating Israel and Judaism is anti-Semitic. Genius.
Yeah, it's not a dog whistle. If you don't hear it, you fucking Nazi. Oh, no, they're not talking about the Jews. They're talking about the Israelis. The Israelis are controlling the world. Oh, they don't mean the Jews. You're being anti-Semitic. Fucking loot.
Which seems like, do you think he realizes he's being super bad faith?
No, I don't think most liberals realize that they're being bad faith.
I mean,
although
but there is a marked contrast in between. Like, look, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't know why I'm equivocating, because the people who listen to this podcast probably want to hear a shellac him in the same way that he is sort of misinterpreting other people. But I don't really have it in me to do that.
Yeah.
I want to actually let's, I actually have the empathy part of my brain works, and I have third person perspective. So I'm actually trying to imagine this guy's head and how he's reacting with the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
almost giving him the
otherwise,
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much benefit there is to give per se, but I don't want to. It would probably be more entertaining if we just sat here and shit on this fucking guy. So we'll warm up to fucking shitting on him.
I mean, well, yeah, I agree. And also, as it will become more and more clear as we go through these, this guy he strikes me as a contrarian. Like, this dude would have been so fucking annoying to hang out with in high school. You know, he was sitting at the lunch table alone. No one wanted to be around him. He's that actually type guy. Like, it's frustrated me watching these.
I hate a blustery tough guy for the status quo.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
you guys are all stupid. It's like, brother, you're voting for the corporatist duopoly. Like, what are you? Why do you have this much bass or gain in your voice? Why are you fixing your face to talk and cape for these people like this? They literally don't care, brother. And any single day, Kamala Harris would rather tongue kiss and warmly hold Liz Cheney than to talk to you at all.
Yeah.
They do not want your vote. They do not care. What Democrats want is Republicans to vote for them.
Yeah. And what I really like is, you can hear the vitriol in his voice when he addresses, other leftists or communists, but none of that vitriol towards the Democrats, a capitalist party who works in the interests of the capitalist class. It's just very bizarre.
And I think that he's doing the thing where he's frustrated. And I do think that this is true, where leftists criticize Democrats more because we're assuming that everybody knows the Republicans are bad. I only mention the Republicans to point out when the Democrats are in lockstep with those. Like, just a reminder, the Democrats and the Republicans are in 100% agreement on this.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason we do that, and it's because there are people who consider themselves progressives who think that they're doing the right thing by voting Democrat, and we want to win those people over. It should theoretically be easier to win those people over than to win over Christian nationalists and fucking, what are essentially Nazis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have would-be leftist tailing Democrats who have yet to have frontal lobe development so as to see the inevitability of the decline of the duopoly, right? Or it's solidifying into fascism, right? Yeah. Like the merging of the party. That's what these parties. It's like that recent movie with Alison Brie and Dave Franco, where the couple merges.
I haven't.
They're
seen
they're
that.
like magnetically attracted to each other, and as soon as they touch their bodies, like smush them, start merging. And like that's what's happening with the race to the middle with these two parties, right? Or the race the race to the middle between them on the Overton window, not like actual centrism, whatever that even means in the American context anymore. We have like two far right parties, and saying anything else is like asinine.
No, yeah.
So there's an issue where you have the leftist who would be otherwise, or progressives who will be leftists later. You're courting them. And at the same time, you have to unpack the Democrat talking points that have been appropriated from leftists. So like rhetorically and positionally, the Democrats are tailing the leftists with talking points. And there's also a thing where leftists have to court progressives and educate them to move left.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the Democrats do look, and they they're like, what are the kids interested in these days? What are the what's the word? We got to do that. We got to be like that, act like that. So that's what we have to kind of wake up the so-called progressives and those types of people and pull them over to our side.
I think it's a misnomer or it's a misapprehension to think that the Democrats are actually looking at what young people do. What they do actually is pay young people to say certain things.
That's very true, as we've learned. Yeah.
And like, for instance, someone else pointed at a dynamic. They're like, well, why do you think this happens? The Republicans were so bad and inept, they allowed Trump to come to power. They did not have the immune system to fight off Trump. And as a result, you had a cavalcade of never Trumpers. What happened to those never Trumpers? They became Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their donors, their lobbyists, their safe corporations, they became likely Democrat lobbyers.
Yeah. Well, you had people straight up leaving the Republican Party to join the Democrats because they didn't like Trump.
Right. Let alone like independent voters.
Yeah.
And all of this is to say, and never let these people gaslight you, Capy. If there was 100% turnout for the vote on the last presidential election in 2024, Trump would have won in a landslide.
I also think he would have won. Yeah.
Like at all the polling shows.
Yeah.
Of the people who did not vote, they were far more inclined to vote for Trump. He would have won even harder. So like all of this is like they're literally beating up on the people who are forced to be in a big tent with Democrats. They're literally just forever pummeling the left wing of their own party and keeping none of that energy for the Republicans, which is weird because the Democrats and their likely voters will then project that onto the leftists. How come you don't have any of that energy for Republicans? Why don't you?
Yeah, right.
You love them so much, you even adopt their policies.
Yeah. The annoying thing is that we do. Like, I mean, come on now. Just look at the war right now with the U.S. bombing Iran. I have seen communists talking about how much they hate Trump for the last month. You know what I mean? So I think it's a bit of a straw man.
Yeah, here's the next video here. This one says, in reply to comment, bro is out here doing pro-Israel propaganda for free. Ha 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 ha. And here is his response.
Buddy, you're just proving my point. When I say, if you're a Hasan fan, I assume you're anti-Semitic, and your response is, oh, you're probably a Jew. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying about you guys. You're little Nazis in training. And every time anybody criticizes your favorite guy, you assume that, oh, the Jews are doing it. Because you guys are fucking Nazis.
So bro's out here doing pro-Israel prop for free.
Yeah. I don't think that's the thing. He's distorting what the person said. This guy's malicious.
Like the quote, we're looking at the quote. It said on screen, bro's out here doing pro-Israel prop for free. Oh, you think it's the Jews. Purposely, it's like usually if you were going to willfully misconstrue what someone says, don't put the quote on the screen.
Well, that's exactly why the last commenter was trying to tell him that conflating Judaism and Zionism is anti-Semitic. And here he is doing it again.
Which is interesting because when you go through here and you click on this and you go to his link tree here, there's a link here that says Gaza death toll by month. So apparently he's pro-Palestine, or pro-Palestine in the way, or I don't know. Like
it's probably in the way that again, none of these people are actually pro-Palestine because they don't. They don't support Hamas. They don't support the rest of the Palestinian resistance or the axis of resistance. These are those types of people that are like, well, I think it's mean, down with Netanyahu, I support Palestine, but not any of the actual groups on the ground doing the fighting. I support the people.
Or their government. It's like an anarchoid position. I support the people, but not their state. It's like Hamas is their government.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's like fucking bizarre. So here is his pinned response, or here's his pinned comment.
I'm just going to get a response out of the way for any past and future videos that the Never Kamala Left will ever make about me. Okay? Here is the rundown. Read it at your own leisure. All right? Okay? This is my response to all of the videos. I don't watch your videos, so if I didn't specifically address what you said, sorry. This is just general, like, this should cover just about everything you guys say.
Okay. So he makes responses to videos he doesn't watch. Like he's listening to talk. Right? He's just sort of lashing out at people who leave comments on his page. And how much of that is like, would he be doing this if that wasn't the sort of the meta for political conversations like this on TikTok? Like I feel like it's very much incentivized, right? This sort of like vitriolic reaction to a comment.
Yeah, well, it does. it does get people to people see it and they go, ooh, what is this? It's the drama. People like drama.
Okay, my forever responses to all never Kamala leftists. Number one, there is nothing wrong with voting for the best possible outcome, and anyone who doesn't is genuinely stupid. Number two, you complain about what Dems do because you do nothing. Number three, you blame individual voters for actions of the federal government like ridiculous children. Weird. It's so bizarre because they really... Okay, four, you ignore Republicans because your parents might see your videos and cut you off. Okay, five, you make videos about me because you're too scared to confront your Republican daddy. Six, you blame Dems for your failures. Seven, you claim victories you took no part in. Eight, like, it's so wild, a Democrat voter saying this.
Yeah, and like...
hold on, let me go, hold on.
What I'm
Eight,
getting from this...
all of your plans are about what other people should do because you won't do shit. 9, your revolution does less community work than my local church youth groups. 10, yes, I am a white man, very observant. What are you noticing about these?
Are we not allowed to criticize the Democrats? Because he seems to have a very big problem with anyone who criticizes the Democrats.
The argument is that you're de-incentivizing voters, right? So we saw this against Madeleine Pendleton. We saw this during the Kamala election. This is from 2025. So this is a full 9-10 months after the general election. Right. And he's still talking about never Kamala leftists. So obviously this guy is in a fixed reactionary state, agitated state for almost a full year after the general election, still coping, whining, and seething that one of the most, and I've also seen him saying when people are like, she was just unlikable, no personality. He definitely does the thing oh, weird. So, oh, okay. So when a black woman does a thing, he does that whole thing. It's she can do no wrong because she's black, apparently. Or if you dislike Kamala, you're racist. If you criticize Israel, you believe in the Jewish Pax Judaica conspiracy. It's brother, come on, dog. And he's just doing agitprop. This is for the Democrats. This is one-way communication. And if you look at his comment section, it's so popular. They're just glazing. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio memes and people saying, finally, bro is staring directly into the sun. Bro is on the surface of the sun, how much he's cooking. It's this is the most tepid Dem orbiter thing I've ever heard. And for them, it's what they like is the intensity of his one-sided rhetoric.
I also think I noticed an inconsistency. Point number 3, you blame individual voters for actions of the federal government like ridiculous children. But in a couple, we'll watch the video too. Doesn't he blame everyone who didn't vote for Kamala for ICE?
Yes.
And instead of blaming the Republicans,
it's not only people who didn't vote for Kamala, for leftists in general. Just people who have an opinion that the Democrats aren't a party worth voting for or responsible for ICE. But we'll get into that. We have a whole TikTok to watch about that. Yeah, but he's very inconsistent about that, about whether it matters. You blame individual voters for actions of the federal government, but I blame people who voted for Nazis. I blame people who tried to vote for a top cop.
Yeah.
I blame you for being ignorant. Yes, you blame Republican voters too. What do you mean? These guys hate the MAGA people.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What do you mean? Yes, we blame and we criticize people who vote poorly.
Which,
if you're going to vote, it's one thing if you're I just don't have faith in the system. I cannot get up and put shoes on to go vote for this. You have literally crushed the indomitable hope that is instilled in almost every American, cultivated from school and civics lessons and everything else, right?
Yeah.
They the Democrat Party, through their banality, their doublespeak, their lying, fake campaign policies, and recalcitrance or reluctance to do anything other than tail Republicans forever, which he actually gets into. He blames the leftists for that too.
It blames leftists for everything.
Not only are we responsible for ICE, but we're responsible for Democrats then who will inevitably keep ICE going.
Yeah. Well, what is that? Yeah, his whole thing about the Democrats follow the Republicans and it's our fault they do that. Yeah.
You claim victories you took no part in, brother. That's literally what the Democrats do. They still want credit for the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act was done to stave off a revolution because there were so many leftist activists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they act like the Democrats wanted to do the Civil Rights Act. They did not.
No, yeah.
They did not want to do that. They did that so the government wouldn't lose power.
I feel like this guy can't even act like he's a leftist who is voting Democrat for harm reduction, but you are a Democrat. Just admit it. Take the mask off. You're a fucking Democrat.
No, I think his name is a meme.
Yeah, I bet well, at first I was like, maybe someone called him reactionary, and so he was like, let me, reactionary leftist. But no, like, he is.
Yeah, no, I think he thinks he's a leftist because he is, like, a feminist and probably anti-ICE.
Yeah.
So that, in his head, he's like Antifa.
Yeah, I guess he's if we're only considering the current, the establishment, right, Democrat Republican, then I guess technically he would be a leftist because he's the left wing of a right wing duopoly. But
he's a left wing of fascism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's 100% true, and that's like hard for Democrats to hear. You're the left wing fascist. You're the Strasserists.
Yeah,
that's what you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of your plans are about what other people should do. This is so okay, Capy. What is the role a proper ML of good dialectical understanding, using dialectical materialism, historical materialism, trapped in the imperial core? What mechanism should we be utilizing towards raising consciousness, toward doing agitprop? What role does elections play for us as communists in the imperial core, in a bourgeois democracy?
Yeah. So, Lenin talks about this in Left-Wing Communism and Infantile Disorder. The name of the chapter is Should We Participate in Bourgeois Parliaments, right? Straightforward. And there are a couple reasons why we should do this. One, it gets our name out there, right? Two, I believe it was Engels who mentioned it. We can use it as a gauge. But three, it also shows the masses how the system runs, that the system's rigged. You get what I mean? And so the job of a communist is not to tail the Democrats, is not to tail the Republicans. The job of a communist is to run communists from a communist party, right? And try and pull people in to that party. So this is like what you see I don't know if it was the PSL who ran Claudia or if it was
a couple different parties. I think the Peace and Freedom Party or whatever in California ran Claudia de la Cruz as their candidate, which is kind of interesting because so when you have a very strong third-party candidate, they're like reform in one country or in one state, and they're another like independent in another. It's just how they can get on the ballot.
Yeah.
So I think in California, Claudia de la Cruz ran under that party, the one that Madeleine Pendleton apparently is a mobilizer for, activist for. And in other states where she could, I think she ran as PSL. I think it depends on where you're at.
Well, I think the fact of the matter is, and Lenin mentions this, although, right, we as communists understand that historically speaking, bourgeois elections, we're past that, right? We need revolution. However, the masses are not up to speed on that yet. The masses are very much still engaged with and participating in bourgeois electoralism. And so that's why we do need to enter into that, how could I put it? That's why we do need to enter into, bourgeois elections to try and essentially awaken them, as Lenin puts it.
Not only do the majority of them participate in, the only way you can participate in political conversations is through the vector of Team Red, Team Blue. There's no earnest there's no apolitical economic analysis going on. It's all like Trump did this thing and it's bad and here's why Trump's evil. Oh, Kamala did this thing and here's why she's a communist.
Yep.
It's all conversations painted in that way. Americans the duopoly is so fundamental to how they see the world. Every single one of their political positions is tainted by it.
Absolutely. And we have to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? We always say that communists have to meet the people where they're at. Well, unfortunately, in the political sense, they're still engaging in bourgeois electoralism.
It occurs to me that we should think about it as there's still utility in participating in the electoral endeavors in the elections, because for agitprop purposes and just for advertising that the party exists.
Yeah. We are essentially utilizing it for educational purposes.
Right. So I say all that to say that point 8, all of your plans are about what other people should do. It's like, well, that's sort of like the role of agitprop. Yes, we're raising consciousness.
Absolutely, yeah.
We see you doing status quo, State Department shenanigans, parades. We see you going on your police parades, and we're saying this isn't da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and they hate that. Because they're like, just technically, it's sort of like, the people who, it reminds me very much of like, remember like the Mr. Beast thing so Mr. Beast had that thing where he was like, save our oceans or whatever if you donate X amount of dollars or whatever, or do one thing and I'll remove X amount of plastic from the ocean. And then people pointed out like, it's actually unsustainable and you're actually emitting way more carbon emissions by doing this. So it's like a net negative towards the environment for you to even endeavor to do this. It's not sustainable because those boats run on diesel. It doesn't make sense what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're actually harming the environment more by trying this. And people were like, oh, you're just mad because they're doing something. It's like, no, you're not hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is a perverse action. So, and they hate, have that, like, well, why don't you do the thing that you want to do? It's like, brother, part of me getting to do the thing that I want to do is to let people know that participating in democratic protests are backwards, this is fine. It'd be better if this, like, they get vehemently mad when you say like, okay, that's fine, I guess, but it would be better if you did this. They can't stand it, like, at all. They're like, you don't do anything. I'm like, I just was trying to tell you not to put a fork in the fucking socket. That is doing something.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about whether or not the communist parties are doing enough, but that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is that if somebody is voting for a third party and it happens to be a communist or a socialist that they're voting for, they're probably organized in an organization.
Yeah, so your revolution does less community work than my local church. Okay, and less pedophilia too. Like, what are you talking about, dog? Like, okay. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And also, your church gets way more donations than the communists do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So what are we talking about? Your church doesn't pay taxes and is filled with pedophiles. So okay. And what do you mean? And the youth groups of your local churches are likely Republican voters. So what are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like literally what was point 4? You claim victories you took no part in. Okay, brother. The Christian fucking youth groups are fucking Fuentes voters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
what does that have to do with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
this guy is a fucking nerd.
He just sucks so fucking bad. I don't know. But like, and it's really just ideological, right? He's just stuck in this sort of he's stuck in that dynamic of caping for Dems. I don't know. We have to fucking move on. Democrats are better than Republicans. Let's fucking try to get through some of these. So in this one, he says, again, though, all of your points are just repackages. At least the Democrats are better talking points instead of engaging in the conversation. You double down. Also, I think it's interesting, ... truncated. And here's his response.
If you weren't so fucking childish and were capable of simply acknowledging that Democrats are better than Republicans, there could be a whole lot of different conversations. But the reason people keep telling you Democrats better is because you idiots can't just accept it. It's because you refuse to acknowledge the reality that Democrats are better. And that's why your politics are simply Dems bad. That's all you care about, right? We could have a different conversation, but you're stuck on, you think Democrats are good. No, Democrats are better than Republicans. And until you're capable of fucking acknowledging that, until we can agree that that's the fucking reality, we can't have any different fucking conversations because I'm going to have to keep telling you the basics of reality that Democrats are better than fucking Republicans. You fucking child.
Better for who?
You think, number one, you do think Democrats are good because if you have a battery that has 20% charge and one that has 60% charge, and I ask which is better, you're going to point at the one that's 60%. You do think that's the good one.
Yeah.
Like, so like that, you think it's good enough to go vote for, dog? Like, what do you mean? You do think it's the good option because you're making it. Like, what do you mean? So it's like literally just a semantic fucking point. And also, I noticed the trend here. What are the policies of the Democrats what are the good, how are they better?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I mean. I hate these types of people because they'll at the very least, they'll think about the American public. They don't think about, though, how certain Democrat policies affect the whole rest of the fucking world. Better for who? Were the Democrats better for Gaddafi in Libya? I don't fucking think so. You know what I mean? It blows my mind.
It's necessarily hyper-focused on the settlers.
Yes, always.
It's just hyper-focused. Like, look, I want healthcare. On my stolen land, I want healthcare. So I'm going to vote for the blue fascists that are going to... And again, my issue with... And this is a guy who's our age, right?
Yeah.
So how many times he's like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football? Literally, how many times are they going to okie doke you?
No, yeah.
Like, brother, they don't do a single fucking thing they promise electorally. Kamala Harris couldn't even, by the end of her election, at least Barack Obama waited till he was elected to switch up. Kamala Harris was switching up in the months leading up, like, trans rights, you know what? Leave it up to the states. Actually, yeah, I am pro-invasion. I am pro-regime change in other countries. It's like she couldn't even lie all the way to the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
Because she was scrambling and trying to court more and more right-wingers throughout the whole thing. Like, brother, like, what positions do you think that they would have? I don't even know, like, I can't think of a position that you...
Well, he didn't explain.
No, trans people, I guess.
Yeah, there are
harm
some
reduction for trans people, but the problem is Democrats don't do anything about that. What they do is they're just not a Republican.
That's literally it. And I think the thing that this guy keeps missing is that the reason why people didn't vote, if the Democrats would have come out and said, we will stop funding Israel, we'll stop funding a genocide in Palestine, guess what? People would have voted for them.
She would have won.
But
she definitely would have won if she had said, I'm against Benjamin Netanyahu. That's all she needed to say.
People did not.
I want to stop. She didn't have to say Israel. It didn't have to be that serious because a lot of these anti or quote unquote pro-Palestinian people are just sort of like anti this current action.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so that's all she said. I will immediately cease funding for Israel while they're doing this campaign.
Yeah. And
would have been enough.
They would have had communists voting for them for the sake of the Palestinians. You know what I mean? I don't think it's controversial to say, hey, I'm not going to vote for a fucking party that's committing a genocide.
There's so much of this, like, and I've been awash in a sea of these bad takes about like really just like Democrat cope and like wish casting about the Civil Rights Act and like, do you know the last time we had all three branches of government and you know what they did? The Affordable Care Act. And then I like paused the video and I like looked at my ceiling and I was like, that's literally a Republican bill.
Yeah.
It's literally Romney Care.
Yeah.
A Republican vulture capitalist did that to enfranchise and increase the profits of insurance companies.
Yeah.
Like it's a right-wing bill to enfranchise people to also incur medical debt.
Yeah.
Like I mean, that's all it created. It created a little bit more exposure for some insurance companies. That's all it did.
Yeah.
But it fundamentally did not change anything, and healthcare outcomes in America aren't better after.
Well, that's the thing, too, that I'm surprised this guy hasn't realized by now, is that the Democrats never change anything. Like, the Overton window never moves left. It constantly is moving right. The Democrats have become more right.
He has a post about this. Those of us who didn't like Kamala didn't like her for reasons that pertain to genocide, and everyone ignores that fact, blames leftists for Trump's election and ICE. So now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
I don't care why you spent the last year trying to get Trump in office. I don't care what bullshit reason you have for helping Trump get elected. You helped. You were pushing the rhetoric. You were telling people not to vote for Kamala. You helped Trump get elected. So everything that happens under Trump's administration, you are responsible for because you helped reach this outcome. You weren't the whole thing. You were part of it. And so every ICE raid, no, you share in the responsibility for those ICE raids.
It doesn't even apply. That applies more to what this person's saying than he is. You are responsible for voting for Kamala, and Kamala is responsible for having terrible fucking policies and running a shitty fucking election and the Democrats not having a fucking primary. What are you literally talking about? You are responsible for Trump getting... It's one thing if she fucking won.
Yeah.
She didn't. She ran a bad campaign. It's not the left. If you add up every leftist in the world, every leftist in America, fucking magically have made them fucking vote and then tally them on to the fucking total, Trump still wins. What are you talking about? Let's make that less hyperbolic. It's a known fact. If you tally up all the leftoid voters and then make them Kamala voters, Trump still wins. So what are you talking about? It was literally, why was Kamala giving them so many grounds? So, like, literally his implicit take here is you have to not point out when our candidates are terrible or else you're a Nazi.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And also, if the left is responsible for these ICE raids because we didn't vote for Kamala, who the fuck was responsible for the ICE raids during the Biden administration? Is this guy responsible? Or what about the fact that, and I mentioned this the other night in the live stream, up until this point, at least so far, Obama deported more people than the Trump administration has,
and drone strike more people in the global war on terror
than any other president up until that point.
Yeah, like
who's responsible for that?
Yeah, you're responsible for stochastic rhetoric, which led to malaise and lowered support for fake populist, fake progressive Democrats. So pointing out reality, you're responsible and a Nazi and you're a Trumper for pointing out reality, which disincentivized people to vote for the left wing of the left wing of fascism in America.
Yeah. I'd be curious, too. Is this guy part of an ICE rapid response team? Is he out there organizing with his community and showing up to the places where ICE does to attempt to de-arrest people and to try and get food to people who can't leave their houses? No, it's the leftists. It's the people who he hates and who he has so much vitriol against. It's them doing that.
No, he prefers the Hitler Youth at the churches. That's what he likes. And I also want to point out he's wearing a pussy hat or something in this. Okay.
This guy sucks.
Which is so bizarre, right? It's a very Calvinistic framing of like, so unless you're fighting the devil, you're you have succumbed to the devil's wiles. You are of the devil unless you are in a perpetual warfare with it, which is interesting because then he has this take.
The revolution is just a rapture for them. They believe that if the conditions get bad enough, the proletariat will be forced to rise up. And so they get to tell themselves that they're better than everybody, and it'll be proven correct when Jesus comes again. Oh, wait.
So
yeah, that one's frustrating.
It's so fucking bizarre. It's so, what is it? Communist early evangelicals who treat revolution like rapture. And this is a very popularized left of center talking point against Marxists who do purity testing and act like evangelicals when they literally are like electoral Calvinists who see Trump as the devil and therefore anything that's not Trump is better.
Yeah. I also it grinds my gears. We don't believe that if conditions get bad, the proletariat will rise up. Historically speaking, that's what has happened. Okay, so it's not a belief. It is actual reality. When conditions get bad, the working class decides, hey, maybe we should do something about this. And because of that trend, we've had revolutions all across the world, from Eastern Europe to Latin America to Africa to West Asia to Southeast Asia, so on and so forth.
Those are all places where there wasn't anti-communism, though. I don't think conditions getting bad is good enough because conditions got pretty bad in West Germany, and they're not communist.
Well,
in Nazi Germany and in America, conditions have been bad long enough to foment this, except that we don't have... This is my issue with like communizers and like left comms. They think that as far as I can tell, they think that people are just going to spontaneously realize that Marxism is good without like a vanguard party disseminating talking points.
Yeah, no, the spontaneity thing was addressed by Lenin. That's complete nonsense. But to bring it back, did you say that those places didn't have anti-communism?
I'm sure they did, but not like America.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, because like the Bolsheviks had to go underground.
Yeah.
Right. The Tsar wanted their head. I mean, all communist movements have seen repression.
Fair.
I think that the case of America is because although things have gotten bad relative to our normal, luxurious lives, we still do have it better than a lot of other places.
Fair.
I mean, some people might not like this, but even being homeless in America is easier than being homeless in a lot of other places.
Yeah, I'm from San Diego. You don't got to tell me. Yeah, no, it's 70 degrees year round. Like, well, people literally migrate to San Diego to be homeless. Yeah.
People choose, which, you know, not to say it in a reactionary way, but as someone who came from the punk scene, there are people who choose to be homeless. They feel like that's freedom, and they're fine.
Well, and
they're pulling full garbage bags.
Yeah, a lot of the contrary options are like Salvation Army and other places like that, homeless shelters that impose very stringent regulations. You have to be in by a certain time. They go through your stuff, et cetera, et cetera. It is like it violates your sovereignty to be there.
Sure. Yeah. But this is, you know, the punk scene always struck me as weird because I never met so many people in my life who chose and wanted to be homeless and felt like it was freedom. I'm like, don't you want a house and a shower? You know what I mean? When I first started becoming a Marxist, I was even more like, holy shit, the punk scene is so weird because it's like these people choose to do this. Like, it's not super hard for them. They can busk and make a bunch of money. Like I said, you're pulling full garbage bags of perfectly fine food out of dumpsters. I mean, there's a lot of countries where that wouldn't be a thing, but we overproduce so much here. You know what I mean? So I think by every metric, we are still more privileged, and they still give us enough to quell, right? To quell any sort of revolutionary uptick we may have.
So, like you're saying, an ancillary side effect of consumerism is soft leftoids, being that we're producing like Dunkin' Donuts where they have so much food you can just like feed yourself by dumpster diving.
Yeah,
the left is soft. No, that's what I heard.
The point I'm trying to make is that we have a labor aristocracy here, a very big one, and the reason why we have it is because through imperialism, through the blood of the third world, the state has been able to furnish us a luxurious life. Even people in the worst conditions here, right? If we're speaking relatively, are still doing better than anybody in Palestine.
It's not bad enough for the Treatler-ites.
Yeah, and the thing is even if it got bad enough, I think we would see more of a rise in fascist movements here. Very reactionary population.
Not even would, will.
Will, yes.
You will. That is incoming. That is definitely incoming. That will happen. It's assured to happen. I don't see anything else. And not only that, I see it like a military coup happening. Pete Hegseth is like firing all the general. Like there's nothing good coming. All right, let's get through this. Let's try to get under an hour with this. Okay, this one really is like this. Think of the mental calisthenics necessary to say this.
Hey, kid, I know this is like the second election that you poser-ass leftists have ever dealt with, but guess what? When a team wins, people follow their lead. People see a winner, and they're like, oh, we should follow the winner. So when you let Republicans win, you teach Democrats to follow their fucking lead. You don't teach Democrats to go further left when you let further right politicians win the seat they were going for, you dumb fucks. Where do you get these stupid fucking ideas?
Democrats are purposely ignoring polling data that shows how popular leftist positions are in America. They go out of their way to not implement policies. The issue isn't that they're tailing winners. They are tailing Republican voters.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They don't want to mobilize non-voters. They don't want those because those guys are going to vote third party. They only want safe duopoly voters voting. That is the issue. They are like and it's done because lobbyists and PACs and everything else like that are State Department / corporatist lobbyists. So they want the corporatist, the fucking duopoly voters and nothing else. Like I don't understand. And the reason why the Democrats lost is because of the vote blue no matter who. It foments this dynamic where they think that they have created a situation where people will do lesser evilism every time. And under that metric, they think it's a net gain to vote center-right Democrats.
Yeah. What I don't like about this is it's like, if, say, that's true, that the Democrats just follow the Republicans when they win and they go more right. Why aren't you fucking bringing that up with the Democrats? Shouldn't you be critiquing them for that instead of blaming people who didn't vote for Kamala? Like, it's so fucking weird. Like, dude, have you not realized that the system here is broken? It's fucking broken. And the parties don't work within the interests of the people. And so when you blame it blows my mind. I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics.
Yeah, it's just really, really. Did you hear him criticize the Democrats for, number one, did any of these say a Democrat position that he liked, or criticize a Democrat for something that they've done?
No, in fact, one of the things that annoyed me was this guy keeps talking about, their policies. Well, name one that's better, dude.
Yeah, like they literally can't. And to compound upon that, there is no thing that the Democrat or the Republicans are doing that the Democrats will undo.
Or that they wouldn't do themselves.
He's finger wagging, chastising, and insulting the intelligences of people who are pointing out Democrats do bad things by saying Democrats' policies are better, and he's calling them naive when it seems like he's the naive one because he keeps falling for the okie doke and he doesn't realize that these are just electoral talking points and that the Democrats absolutely do not and will never follow through with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 100% is just a lie.
And the
Democrats will increase funding for ICE when they get in power. They will 100%. They will come to some conclusion where it's like, oh well, we only use paramilitaries within ICE, and we put a cap on the amount of IDF that can be in ICE. Oh, we only allow them to wear their masks on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah,
now.
It will. Oh my God, it will be some. See, I hate that. Liberals are always criticizing ICE for instance, they'll be like, well, they don't get enough training, and it's like, no, the problem isn't. Oh, great, so a trained ICE would be better than an untrained one. You fucking idiot. It's the issue with ICE is not that they're not trained well, it's that they're fucking fascists and they're rounding people up, putting them in concentration camps and deporting them. That's the issue.
And literally, in as much as I can tell, like, this guy does talk about ICE, does he actually believe, like, so his position is talking about they don't want to abolish ICE. So he seems to understand that abolishing ICE is good. However, is he thinking that any of the Democrats are going to do that? Because
they're not. Look at the example we had from Trump's first administration to the Biden administration. All of a sudden, the Democrats, they lightened their language. Oh, these what they were calling concentration camps that existed under the Trump administration were now overflow facilities, and they still existed, and people were still being deported. So
how are the leftists responsible for the Democrats not having any political leverage on their political adversaries? Why is it that Republicans can railroad and get Supreme Court picks in there? And this is relevant because the conversion therapy bill that just came out, some states had anti-conversion therapy things, and the Supreme Court just recently ruled that you're violating free speech by trying to stop conversion therapy. Okay? And then it got me thinking, okay, but why was Obama such a fucking pussy? And he couldn't just railroad and do punitive things against the Republicans until they were forced to allow the nomination and the vetting hearings to go through to get these picks in.
Yeah.
Why is it that the Democrats grab ankle and vote for Republican nominees while Democrat ones are froze out? Why did we allow that to happen? And how are the leftists responsible for that?
Yeah. Well, also, I noticed sometimes what the Democrats do, too, and I believe Joe Biden did this, was they'll sign shit right at the end of their term. And then when the Republicans get elected, they just undo everything right away, right? It's like a safe move for the Democrats because they don't actually have to commit themselves to the policy. I believe Biden passed something that would have been good for Cuba's sake, and it was undone by the Trump administration immediately. And now look at the situation.
Not only that, Obama did lightened up relationships with Cuba, and Biden undid it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these people are fucking snakes.
It's just like cope, and he's like sitting there calling us naive. He's like, brother, you're literally lying. Like, I understand, like, and it's like, honestly, where is the harm reduction, dog? The thing is, if I earnestly thought that was real, I would do it, but like, I honestly don't.
Yeah.
The Democrats do not do harm reduction for marginalized communities. They just don't.
No.
They what they do is they put a freeze on it. They keep it at current levels of harm that the Republicans instilled, and then they hold the line for 4 years, and the Republicans get in and do more harm.
Yeah, no,
but that is not harm reduction. That is harm maintenance.
Yeah, at the very least, they keep it at the same level.
At the very end, it's not even that, because they have to do as part of budgets they sign in, they like do inflation offsetting line item increases to budgets. So Democrats, not only will they not abolish, I still increase funding for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. There's no doubt.
And they might throw
in
a line about extra funding because they're going to give sensitivity training to the Gestapo.
Yeah, they'll reform ICE.
And while like literally voting for, ICE, Imperial Boomerang, cop cities. What are we, like, the Democrats are fucking hardcore imperialists, like trying to kick off World War III. Like, what are we talking about?
And they're all Zionists too. It's like that, like whether or not it was Kamala or Trump, it didn't make a difference for the Palestinians. It probably wouldn't have made a difference for the Iranians, considering the way Kamala was speaking about Iran. It doesn't make a difference for the DPRK ever. It doesn't make a difference for anybody outside in the rest of the world who has to endure American imperialism.
Okay, so this guy has first of all, we both mog him. He's ugly, he's puffy, he's dumb, he's wrong, he's naive, he sucks. He's a reactionary _ leftist. This guy fucking sucks. If you guys are listening to this, go like look at the comments on his video and just the amount of like settler cope and glaze for, the people who want 1 scoop of shit in their sandwich versus 2 scoops of shit. It's just like bizarre. This guy's mad at all the fucking wrong things, and hopefully one day he just like fucking decides like life has become too much and takes some steps towards that. That's all we can hope for. I hate America because of guys like this.
Yeah. No, in fact, speaking of his comments, under one of his TikToks, I saw somebody saying, like, talking shit on people like us who celebrated the discontinuation of U.S. aid. The type of funding that goes to the Ned, and it's a tool of imperialism, and he liked it.
Of course, this guy does not have a problem with subjugating, like harm reduction for, like you said, not around the southern hemisphere.
Yeah,
not for anybody around the world. No, they're harm maximalists for them as long as this guy gets his treats. And look at his puffy face. He loves his fucking treats. Okay, everybody, that's it. Patreon.com/online leftist. We do 2 live streams a week. Capy, is there anything else you want to tell these people?
Yeah, don't do anything Capy wouldn't do, and don't talk to cops or this guy because he fucking sucks and he's a weirdo.
He fucking sucks so fucking bad. All right, everybody, bye-bye.